Hello everyone, my name is Pragya Khanna and today we'll be learning about login authentication. So without further ado, let's get on into the video. So let's begin by thinking that what actually is web authentication. Website authentication is the security process that allows users to verify their identities in order to gain access to their personal accounts on a website. Users are usually identified with the user ID, and authentication is accomplished when the user provides a credential, for example a password, that matches with that user ID. Now you must be wondering, how does it actually happen? Let's understand that. This process occurs behind the scenes anytime an individual logs into an online account, including social media profiles, e-commerce sites, reward programs, online banking accounts, and more. When a user creates a new account on a website, they create a unique ID and key that will be used in the future to verify their identity and allow them back into that account. That ID and key are stored in a highly secure web server to compare future credentials against. Moving further, let's try to understand who actually uses authentication. Many companies use authentication to validate users who log into their website. For enterprises and other large organizations, authentication may be accomplished using an SSO system, also known as Single Sign-On System, which grants access to multiple with a single set of login credentials. Now let us see how authentication works. During authentication, credentials provided by user are compared to those on files in a database of authorized users' information, either on local operating system or through an authentication server. If the credentials match and authenticated entity is authorized to use the resource, the process is completed and user is granted access to their accounts. So there are basically 5 common types of authentication. Number 1 is password-based authentication. Second being multi-factor authentication. Third is certificate-based authentication. Fourth is biometric authentication, which also includes eye scanners, facial recognition, voice identification, fingerprint scanners, and a lot more. And the fifth one is token-based authentication. Now let's try to understand more about login authentication. So when you try to access a protected web resource, the web container activates the authentication mechanism that has been configured for that resource. Like, there are 5 basic kinds of login authentication we can say, and those are HTTP basic authentication, form-based login authentication, client certificate authentication, mutual authentication, and digest authentication. Let us try to understand the importance of web authentication. Effective web authentication provides a better user experience. If your website is one that requires a user to verify their identity, gain access to certain elements, such as social media network or online retail site, it is important that users are able to complete the process quickly and easily. Otherwise, you risk users becoming frustrated and abandoning their accounts or transactions for a simpler alternative. So, effective web authentication protects users and you, of course, from data breaches and ensures user data safety. When providing a streamlined and effective login process for your website, it's important that you don't disregard security in order to do so. After all, some level of restriction is necessary to ensure that only the intended user is able to be verified. If a system is too easy for a user to log into, it might be too easy for a cyber criminal to take advantage as well. So we need to keep that in mind. Let's try to find the difference between authentication and authorization. Quite similar words, but quite different meanings. Authentication can be defined as the process of verifying someone's identity by using pre-required details, commonly username and password, while authorization is the process of allowing an authenticated user to access a specified resource, for example, right to access a file. Let's find more about common website authentication methods. Whether you're looking to implement authentication practices in your brand new website or seeking a high security upgrade from your current system, it's a good idea to take a look at your options. Most website authentication methods can be divided into one of these categories: knowledge factors, possession factors, or inheritance factors. We'll learn more about each of these in the coming slides. So, starting with knowledge factors simply require users to verify their identity using a piece of information that ideally only they would know. Most often, this is done using a username and password. However, oftentimes a username is replaced by the user's email address. This is often more convenient for the user, although not as secure. Now let's throw some light on its drawbacks as well. We have already mentioned that passwords are far from the most secure option for website authentication. Most passwords are simple and follow well-known patterns, making them easy for cybercriminals to hack. Additionally, the average internet user juggles over 90 online accounts. This could either mean having to keep track of nearly 100 different passwords, which is highly unrealistic to be honest, or reusing passwords across multiple accounts, which create a vulnerability to attack. Moving further, let's try to learn more about possession factors. Using a possession factor for authentication purposes requires that the user verify their identity by proving they have access to a separate item or account. These factors can be physical, such as swiping a keycard, or digital, such as logging into a third-party site through a social media account. By doing so, a user essentially proves that they are who they say they are. But it comes with its own set of drawbacks, which are as follows. Physical items can be stolen or misplaced, which could pose a security risk if it ends up in the hands of anyone besides the intended user, who has to carry and keep track of an additional item and may be logged out upon losing or forgetting it. Now it's time to learn a little about the inheritance factor. Inheritance factors are often referred to as biometric factors, which allow the user to verify their identity using physical characteristics that are unique to each individual. Popular methods include fingerprint scanning or facial recognition. This process is quick and easy and utilizes a tool that a user can neither forget nor misplace. But some of its drawbacks are, in order to read biometric identification markers, the user must have access to the required hardware with the right capabilities, which can get pricey. Additionally, some cybercriminals have found ways to get around these factors using a master fingerprint or a high quality image, and in the case that someone else does get a hold of your biometric makers, that method will never be secure again. You can't just change your fingerprints, can you? Now let's learn how authentication can be used with SSL. Passwords are not protected with confidentiality with HTTP basic or form-based authentication, meaning that passwords sent between a client and a server on an unprotected session can be viewed and intercepted by third parties. To overcome this limitation, you can run these authentication protocols over an SSL protected session and ensure that all message content is protected for confidentiality. Thanks for watching everyone. I hope you found this session informative and interesting. Please like, share and subscribe to Codex Script for more such informational videos.